I want to show you guys how to do feet and straps on the reformer. It's a fan favorite. People love it because it feels so good to have that nice passive stretch with the feet in the ropes. So we're going to start off with footwork settings. For me personally, I'm at 1 and 1. So what that means is how close do you want to be to the foot bar when you're lying down. We're going to put that foot bar all the way to the top. Am I at the top? Yes. Okay. And I've got one heavy spring and one blue spring, or sorry, one red spring and one blue spring, or one heavy spring and one medium spring. Okay, so I'm going to be on my back here. We're going to scooch down to the front of the reformer and then lie down onto the back. If you have someone that has mobility issues and it's really hard for them to get down, what you can do is you can pop this foot bar down first, put the platform extender in there until they're lying down, and then once they're down, then put the foot bar up for them. But if you have someone that has no trouble with their mobility, I would just have it starting up because it can be a little bit awkward to get it all the way up to the top once they're lying down. Okay, so on your back, we're gonna have 2 feet firmly on the foot bar, holding the straps. From here, we're gonna press out long. We're gonna bring one leg up into flexion, pop the rope on, and be careful when you put the strap on, because if the strap is too far forward, it can be really uncomfortable on that 5th metatarsal, on that styloid process, that little bone on the outside of the foot. So just make sure it's a nice, comfortable place for weight bearing, right in that meaty part of the arch. You're gonna take all the weight into that leg here, so that this other leg can come off freely, and then pop this one on to that foot. Okay, so do a quick check, make sure the ropes feel like they're symmetrical or the same length. If they're not, double check that they're not kind of wrapped up in the pulleys, or they're not knotted, or there's nothing going on with them there. From here, we're gonna do a little bit of bend and stretch. So this is just so that the client gets comfortable with the movement of the ropes, making sure it's not too heavy, not too light. This is probably the most rudimentary of the feet and straps exercises. And then we're gonna look for a nice stable pelvis. So making sure that when the knees come in, we're not getting any excessive flexion or kind of rounding in the low back and then pressing through. Sometimes for my clients, it can be really unstable. Their pelvis starts to kind of go side to side. And so that's when I would really cue for a nice heavy tailbone glued down to the mat. So bend and stretch, we can do this in turnout, or we can do it in parallel, we can do it nice and narrow, or we can go nice and wide into a little bit of a sumo squat, whatever's comfortable. Lift and lower is another popular one, so keeping that tailbone down, letting those hamstrings get a nice little stretch, and then driving through the glutes, driving through the hamstrings to press back down. And then one of the other most popular ones is leg circles, bringing the legs out into abduction, circling it back long to that long diagonal. So when I talk about long diagonal, we don't want to be all the way in this horizontal position. Number 1, the ropes can be really uncomfortable on the body. And then number 2, it's a lot of core load here. So let's come up a little bit so there's not quite as much strain on the low tummy or those hip flexors. But if that's what you want, and the client's not uncomfortable being all the way down here, that's perfectly fine. But usually for me, long diagonal means about here. So leg circles can go out from the top and around to the bottom, or in the opposite direction, out from the bottom, connecting at the top, and then pressing through. So, hope you enjoyed those, and please let me know if you have any questions.